headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pods Moving and Storage Studio, it's The Ramsey Show, where America hangs out to have a conversation about your life and your money. I'm Christina Ellis, Ramsey personality, joined today by my co-host, Ramsey personality, George Hamill. We're taking your calls at 888-825-5225. Give us a call. We'd love to chat. Kicking off this hour is Ashley, calling from Nashville, Tennessee. Hey, Ashley, welcome to the show.
Hey, how are you guys?
Hey, we're doing great. How can we help?
So my husband and I have recently decided to be gazelle intense. We have read Total Money Makeover, and we are on baby step 2 currently.
Let's go.
And so, so we finally put all of our debt together, including student loans, everything, and we're sitting at about $148,000. And my question today is, I have a small bit of mutual funds I was gifted from a family member. I think I might have an emotional attachment to it, but we're wondering if we should sell those and put those towards the debt or just leave them as is and forget about them.
How much do you have in those mutual funds?
It's only about $3,000 right now.
You're emotionally attached to $3,000 worth of mutual funds?
I think what, and we talked about this after church the other day, and I think what is keeping me holding it in there is because my great-grandfather worked really hard, bought them a very long time ago, and I feel like I'd be using his success to kind of help with my mistakes. And so, I don't know.
We got to flip the script here. I think he would be honored that you're using this money to set yourself up for a better financial future. That's how I see it.
Yeah, fair enough.
How does that feel when you hear that?
It feels good. I mean, I've always just wanted to make him proud. So I think looking at it that way is definitely helpful for sure.
I think you would be proud of that. The fact that you are going gazelle intense, and part of that is knocking out all debt, no matter what it takes, you going scorched earth. I think he would be so proud to see you going after it.
Yeah, for
so
sure.
Cashing these out, there might be some tax implications on the gains that were made. So that's the only thing to consider, but I would absolutely cash these out and apply it towards your debt.
Okay.
What's your income? Household?
Household is $65,000 right now.
Okay. And what kind of debt's the $148,000?
We have in student loans $89,000. Our total credit card debt is $19,900, and then I have a car right now that's sitting at $39,000. And so we've been looking at selling it. The only problem, I guess this is kind of another question, is we owe more on it than it's worth. So we're trying to kind of figure out how to work that out also.
Yeah, so if you're underwater on the car loan, you're going to need to come up with the cash to cover the difference, plus the amount to get a different car. And so do you have any money in the bank right now?
Just our emergency fund that we just finished saving.
Is that $1,000?
Yes.
Okay. So you've got the $3,000, and so your first step here, obviously in the debt snowball, would be the credit cards. But if you sold this car, we need to come up with the difference. So do you know what the gap is?
We owe $39, and Kelly Blue Book said it's worth $25 right now.
Oh, gosh. How is that possible?
I don't know. We actually were thinking about getting a second opinion, like in person at a dealership.
I mean, did you wreck the thing? How is it worth so much less than you owe?
No, we haven't. It's actually a great vehicle. So I'm not sure if it's the mileage or what happened, but it's very intact and clean.
Do you have another car as well?
My husband has a paid-off truck. It's a 97. He's had it since he was like 18.
Awesome. Okay. Any other debt?
Just our mortgage.
Okay.
Hey, I'm curious. You said your income's 65, and you and your husband are in this together. What are each of you making?
So right now I'm a teacher, and I'm making most of that. He is unemployed, but gets benefits from being retired from the military. He just had a job interview today, actually, and I had a job interview beginning of the week for a second job.
Okay.
Good. That's the biggest thing I'm seeing here on paper is we need to get this income up because you've got a mountain of debt comparatively to your income, and it's going to be a slog to get through this. making 65. So if we can make 100 or more, now we're cooking with gas. We can pay this thing off in 2 years.
How long has he been unemployed?
He got out this summer, I think around July. But he started school, so he was getting the BAH payments and then his veteran or his disability. So he brought in a little over $2,000 every month, and I was bringing in about $3,500.
Okay.
Is he done with school now?
He is. He just graduated in December, and so now he's been applying at places with his degree and whatnot. So
what's his degree in?
Today. Criminal justice. So he's looking at police work.
Cool.
Okay. So he's bringing in $2,000 because of disability from the military, correct?
Correct.
And he's applying for jobs. I'm kind of wondering, I know that with police work, it can take a while sometimes to get a job, to get into a department. Can he do something in the meantime while he's applying for jobs just to bring in that extra income?
We have one of our side hustles. It's kind of slow right now, but we've been doing Rover also. And so since he's been home during the day, he will take any requests that we get for drop-ins and walks and things like that.
Okay.
What about some security guard work? Something that's kind of related to his field that could give him some experience while making, $15, $20, $25 an hour.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. He's done it in the past, so that's definitely an option.
Yeah, and I mean, typically that's pretty flexible. You can find it in the evening if he needs to go on job interviews during the day. But I would bring in something right now, especially with that mountain of debt. Y'all can start tackling this. I mean, I know it's great to get that full-time job, and that's the goal. But in the meantime, I would be hustling like crazy. And you said y'all are gazelle intent, so I think that's just part of it. Like, let's go.
And one option, Ashley, is to go to your local credit union and just get a personal loan to cover the gap with you being underwater on that car. That's the only time we would, and you're technically going into debt, but really you're just lowering the balance so that you have less of a mountain to tackle there. And then your A1 would be getting a beater car for $5,000-$6,000. And I see you're in the Nashville area. I'm just on Auto Trader, sort low to high, go on Facebook Marketplace. They're out there. Are they pretty? No, they shouldn't be. Are they high mileage? Yes. Are you going to brag about it to your friends? No, but that's okay because we got bigger fish to fry than trying to impress our friends with a vehicle right now. So get you something that will go from A to B, get a pre-purchase inspection on it so that you know it's going to be reliable, and that will speed up this process infinitely.
And you may want to just check to see what that car would sell for in the private marketplace. Because right now, the used car industry has been nuts. Whenever we were buying a car, we were seeing such a huge difference between what was on Kelley Blue Book and what was actually in the different dealerships.
Yes, get quotes from everywhere to get a full picture of what you could get for this car. And private party is generally going to be your best bet.
We're wishing you well, Ashley. Let's go. We're excited for you to tackle baby step 2. This is The Ramsey Show. We'll be right back.
Look, I love real estate, and I want you to have a house, but I don't want a house to have you. That's why you need to get in touch with Churchill Mortgage to make sure you do this right. These guys are awesome. They'll help you get on a smarter mortgage plan because they're committed to doing what's right for you. That means they check in every year with free consultations to help you stay on the right plan. They show you how to save money and interest so you can build wealth faster. They walk you through the total cost of your loan so you can make the best choice. Basically, they care. That's why we call them Ramsey Trusted. You can achieve debt-free home ownership, and Churchill is here to help. Go to their site, churchillmortgage.com/Ramsey, to start your approval or get more information.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm Christina Ellis, joined today by my good friend, George Campbell, and we are taking your calls at 888-825-5225. About this time of year, we get flooded with calls because everyone's looking for a fresh start with their money, especially after a tough couple of years. So if that's you, you can't wish for things to change and expect it to happen. You've got to do something different. You got to have a plan, and we can teach you that plan in Financial Peace University. This is the course that will help you rethink how you manage your money, and you'll learn step by step how to pay off debt and build wealth. Guys, nearly 10 million people have taken FPU, followed this plan, and changed their lives. It works. Don't try to reinvent this. And when you intentionally follow this plan with focused intensity, this year, it'll be different. You will have more peace in your finances and in your life. So start Financial Peace University right now at RamseySolutions.com/FPU. That's RamseySolutions.com/FPU. Up next, we have Jim calling from Ottawa, Illinois. Hey, Jim, welcome to the show.
How you doing? Thank you. I can't believe I finally got through.
We can't believe it either, Jim. I tried to stop them, but they let you through anyways. How's it going?
I don't blame you. Right before Christmas, I had bought the Ramsey everything. The kit that was used that was marked down like 80%.
Oh, right.
Some kind of bundle? Did it have Financial Peace University in it?
Right.
Okay.
Yes, it had everything. How do I start with the ABCs? I mean, my wife and I are living paycheck to paycheck. We have tried. We are behind in a lot of finances right now.
So is your goal right now just to we got to cover the bills and we want to get rid of some debt? Is that the A1 for you?
That's the start of it. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we've got a 19-year-old son, so if something happens to us, we're in our 60s. We want to make sure that that he's not going to basically be left with nothing at all but our debt.
Sure. So what's your household income?
Right around 55,000, maybe a little bit more.
Okay, and how much debt do you have total? Just consumer debt, not the mortgage.
Right around, I would say 30,000. 2 cars and a couple credit cards. Not 30, maybe about 25.
Okay.
How much do you owe on the cars?
We owe $12,000 on one, and we owe $6,000 on another.
Okay. So the way you would lay these out is using the debt snowball. But before we get to that in baby step 2, you got to make sure that we are on a budget and we are covering our 4 walls. That's food, utilities, housing, and transportation. You were telling me earlier that you're having a hard time keeping up with bills. What bills are you having a hard time keeping up with?
You name it. Utility bills, rent bills.
And is that due to not having enough money in the bank, or is it the planning side of going, wait, well, my paycheck comes in here, but then by the time the bill hits, it's already gone because it went out over here?
That's the second part.
Okay. Well, I don't know if you already have Every Dollar Premium, but we're going to gift it to you for 1 year just in case. And there's a new feature in there that I think will really help you called Paycheck Planning, where you list out your income and your expenses, and it will actually show you exactly when you would run out of money in the budget. And it helps you figure out if I need to move some bills around. Hey, I need to call the utility provider and have that come out on the 15th instead of the 13th, for example.
Okay.
And I think that side will help you just get the logistics of the budget down. The other piece is just paying attention to where your money's going, as well as increasing your income. So are both of you working right now?
Yes, we're both working part-time jobs. We've both, I retired 6 years ago from a 20-year job, and she retired a year and a half ago. I say retired, but we didn't retire. We just left those jobs and went to part-time jobs. We had both put in 20 years at our careers, and we had just seen the writing on the wall.
So I'm wondering, you said rent is like a consistent issue every month. How much are you paying right now for rent?
We're only paying $725. Luckily, we have a very understandable landlord who used to be a member of our church.
Okay. Yeah. What about your groceries and your discretionary spending? How's that look right now?
We don't go out to eat that much. We do eat at home. We both take our lunches to work.
About how much do you spend a month on groceries?
Oh, I'm gonna say $500 to $700.
Okay, well, one of the first things I want you to do is figure that out for sure, because groceries, that's one of the top places that people spend and go over budget, and it's also one of the things you have the most control over. So right now I'm doing a no spend month, and it's been a challenge, but my family of 4 is eating on $100 a week. It's not necessarily easy and it takes planning, but that is a spot that I'm confident with just the 2 of you, you can get that down to $100 a week. And with that, you're looking at another $300 a month. Especially if it's the 2 of you, you could probably do around $50 to $100. So while we're in baby step 2, while we're gazelle intense, I want you to look at cutting everything that you can. And I would start there.
Well, we do go to Walmart. We do go to Aldi a lot. We've got a 19-year-old who lives with us full time, so he likes to eat. He is paying us rent.
Oh, good. How much?
To help. I mean, he pays us. He's giving us $400 a month.
Wow.
We've got to talk to him about his insurance.
Okay. Yeah, that could help with your expenses if he's working. And the other thing I would suggest is for a season, you might need to both work full time to get this income from 55 to 75 while dialing in the budget. Because really what you need right now is margin. And there's only 2 ways to get margin: spend less and make more. And I suggest you do both right now, because I want you guys to retire with dignity instead of going, we're retired, but it sure doesn't feel like the dream we once had of retirement, does it?
No, not at all.
It shouldn't be this stressful. It should be more fun. We should have more flexibility to do what we want to do. And you can get there. I mean, this $30K, this $25K in debt, making what you guys are making, you can pay this off in a year. And so in 12 months from now, what kind of habits do we have to have in our life in order to get this debt out of our life? And that's going to free up a whole bunch of payments, isn't it?
Sounds like a great idea. I mean, that's why we got the books. We finally put the money down and got the books, because all the time we've always used the excuse, we don't have the money to buy them. We don't have the money to buy them, and then finally,
you took the first step,
this is it.
Which is the hardest part, Jim, is just people going, all right, my plan ain't working. I'm ready for something different. And I love that. And now we've got to take the next step, which is actually the even harder part, which is doing the stuff, putting the actions into place. And so in the baby steps, we're going to get $1,000 in the bank. You may already have that. That's your starter emergency fund. Baby step 2, list all of those debts you have, the credit cards, the car loans, from smallest to largest balance, regardless of the interest rate, and start attacking the little one first with all the margin you can find, with your son's rent, with cutting down the grocery bill, with the side jobs. And that will allow you to knock out that debt, free up a payment, and apply it to the next one, and the next one, and the next one. And so while you're doing that, you're making minimum payments on the rest of those debts until you're completely debt-free.
And I know there can be this feeling of, hey, we're in retirement. We don't want to live like this. We don't want to live.
We're trying to work less, not more.
Right. But it's important to realize that this is just for a season. That's why we call it gazelle intense. You don't run that pace forever. This is not the rest of your life. You run that pace for a year or 2 so that you can get to that spot of freedom, so that you can enjoy retirement without the stress, without the anxiety, without the, feeling like you are down to the last penny every single month. We want you to be able to breathe. We want you to feel financial freedom, and you're not far from that. This is just a season, and you'll get through it. We'll be right back. This is The Ramsey Show.
Life is full of firsts. first and longest-serving Christian health cost-sharing ministry, CHM has shared medical expenses for its members since 1981. We believe you should have the freedom to focus on your health while being supported by a community of believers, giving you the opportunity to create many more firsts.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm Christina Ellis, joined today by my good friend George Camel. Give us a call at 888-825-5225. So there's been some interesting news today, George.
And it involves ceilings. Who knew?
Who knew ceilings could be interesting?
Well, I don't know if, it's scary. Interesting sounds like, I'm intrigued by this. The debt ceiling of the U.S. We have apparently hit our credit limit, Christina, and there's a lot of fears of defaulting on this debt, and the Treasury has begun what they're calling extraordinary measures.
Whoa.
Juicy stuff.
Oh.
So what's going on?
Man, it's interesting. So it looks like we have hit this debt ceiling, and there's debates now. One side wants spending cuts. The other side doesn't want to budge. Y'all, it feels a little bit like the government right now is like a drunk at the bar who ran out of their credit card limit, and people are saying, no, you can't spend anymore. And they found one more credit card in their pocket, and they're like, hey, everyone, drinks on me.
Oh, boy. Yeah, so the amount of time the department can continue taking steps to avoid defaulting on the debt unless the $31.381 trillion limit is raised is uncertain. And so if you're wondering what this refers to, it's the maximum amount the U.S. government can spend on its existing obligations. So think things like Social Security, military salaries, food stamps, things like that. And they're voting to raise the debt ceiling. But the question, Christina, that you're raising is the Republicans are saying, hey, if you're going to raise this thing, you better cut the spending, bucko. And the Democrats are saying, no, hey, don't put strings attached on this. Let's just raise it, guys. Be cool.
I'm like, this is the opposite of a zero-based budget. They're basically running on a negative budget.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, can we go up to Washington and help them budget? Is that possible?
If you ever want just a lot more anxiety in your life, you can go to usdebtclock.org, and it has running numbers for all of the debts, and it's nothing stresses you out like that. So much red.
Oh,
it's not pretty. And so this is something the U.S. has never done, defaulting on its debt,
yeah,
which puts us in a really precarious situation globally because other countries are saying, hey, you guys said you were good for the money, and this is like defaulting on your student loan payment. You can't pay. This is scary.
It's scary, and I want to kind of use this conversation. We were planning on doing an update on student loans anyways. We've had a lot of people asking about forgiveness and what are the latest updates. And so I kind of want to use this conversation to go into student loan forgiveness. Okay, so right now, it's supposed to go, the forgiveness plan is supposed to go before the Supreme Court on February 28th. The White House has said that borrowers will resume payments 60 days after the court cases have been resolved. And if the courts have not resolved the issue by June 30th, payments will resume 60 days after that. And I saw something really interesting in an article by Business Insider. It said Congress did not increase funding for the Federal Student Aid Office in the latest spending bill, suggesting hurdles to come with implementation of these reforms. The administration said that the department is disappointed with the lack of funding and notes that it will present a challenge. Y'all.
So, summary, it's not looking good.
It's not looking
If you're
good.
hoping for student loan forgiveness, it sounds like it's going to be more uphill battles, more fighting, more standstill, gridlock over at the White House and Congress.
And I know that's stressful for a lot of people. You know, I have a lot of friends, a lot of people in my life who've been very excited for student loan forgiveness. They have breathed major sighs of relief over the last year. It was going to allow them to get debt free. So I'm not really rooting one way or another. You know, I think it's just frustrating in general that there's been so much drag in this. There's been so much political turmoil over this. And we just want to say that if you have student loan debt right now, it's really important that you start thinking through how you're going to pay this off. I would not count on this. The U.S. is saying right now that it's out of money. It's running at a deficit, you know, and it's not increasing the budget for student aid. So there's a lot of complications in this. I'm not saying it's impossible. I mean, obviously it could technically happen. They could get another debt extension, but I wouldn't count on it. I would not count on Washington and all of this mess going on right now to forgive your debt. I would start working and creating a plan yourself. Get control of your money. Don't wait until June 30th. Don't wait till, September, whenever these payments come back, to start thinking about it for the first time. And if anything, right now, start paying on it, because there's not interest accruing. This is the best time to be paying off this debt. You are not accruing interest. So use this as motivation. Don't use this as fear. Use it as motivation to get in control of your finances, to take ownership of your money. Don't leave that control to people who are literally running a negative budget. That is a scary situation, but you don't have to be scared. You can follow a budget. You can carve out room for your student loan payment. And not only that, you can carve out room to get ahead.
Yeah, this whole situation feels like you're asking your broke friend who's about to go through bankruptcy to cover your tab. And the dude's got no money. And so with the U.S. defaulting on its debt, it makes it even more unlikely that they're going to have funding for the student loan forgiveness program. And if the government does default on this, it could cause the financial markets to tank. It could hurt 401ks, other investments. It could hurt the overall economy, the GDP of this country. And so it's definitely a scary situation. And the best thing to do is focus on what you can control. Because if the dollar loses a little bit of its value, but I still have a bunch of money in the bank and I don't owe anyone anything, I can still sleep better at night.
Right. When I see something like this, instead of being like, oh, gloom and doom, this is scary, everything's going to poo, I'm like, what can I do with my family and my finances to tighten up? How can I save a little bit more aggressively? If you have debt, making sure you pay off that debt. Use it as motivation to get even more gazelle intense, to press in and control what you can control.
Love it.
All right, up next, we have Tommy calling from San Diego, California. Hey, Tommy, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for calling. How can we help?
So basically what I have is $115,000 in unsecured debt, and I'm current on everything. It's mainly credit cards, and sort of, wondering whether or not I should do a bankruptcy or should stop paying and try to negotiate some of that debt over the coming months.
Well, what kind of debt do you have? What's kind of the breakdown?
Is it all credit cards?
It's $105 in credit cards and $10,500 in a personal.
And what's your income?
So lost a consistent job about 2 years ago, then spent a bunch of money starting a new business, and then recently just became employed again. So it's kind of unpredictable what it'll be. I do flip homes, and some years I could have an additional 50, 100,000, but on average I do about 1 to 135 a year.
Okay. Well, the good news is you do not have to declare bankruptcy. You can get out of this mess, and it's going to take some sacrifices. And bankruptcy right now feels like a shortcut to get rid of the pain that you're experiencing and the debt that you're in, but it's not going to change any of your behaviors. And so what was this 105 on credit cards? What was the majority of that spending on?
So I would say the majority of it was on a business that I have some assets associated with. I probably have, if I were to liquidate that business, which is not an option for me, I probably have about $35,000 in assets with that.
What's the business?
That was most of it. It's a mobile radio-controlled shop and track. We do events like birthday parties, corporate events, and then we also sell products. So I have inventory for that as well.
How much does that business make?
It's making me about $1,000 to $1,500 a week profit right now.
Profit. So that's an extra 50 plus on top of you flipping houses?
Right, which right now I won't be flipping any homes for at least another year or two until I handle this debt.
Do you have any homes right now that you could sell?
I don't.
Well, I think we need to get a full-time job then if we're not going to be flipping houses in the meantime. Could you get something in your field?
I did, and I'm now working 50, 60 hours a week, but it is unpredictable what exactly my income will be this year. I'm assuming somewhere around 80 to 100.
Okay. If you separated out these debts, how many separate debts are there?
How many credit cards?
Yeah.
I would say there's about 20.
Okay, so here's what you're going to do. List those all out from smallest to largest. You're going to go down to $1,000 in the bank. Make sure you can still cover all your bills. Be on a budget. And start knocking away at those smallest credit cards and the next smallest one and the next smallest one. Hang on the line. We're going to send you Financial Peace University as well as Every Dollar Premium to walk you through the debt snowball to get you on that proven plan. But man, it sounds like you can create income when you want it. And it also sounds like we got to cut all the spending, cut up the cards, close the accounts. It's not your friend. These companies want to keep you in debt at 20-something% interest, and I'm glad you're done with it.
And you got to go all in on this. We believe in you. We'll be right back. This is The Ramsey Show. Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm Christina Ellis, joined by George Camel. Give us a call at 888-825-5225. Hey, if you're a new listener, I know it can feel kind of overwhelming to know where to start, and you're probably ready to dive in, and we're ready to help you. Now, if you need help, we want you to go to RamseySolutions.com and click on the Get Started button. We'll help you figure out the best next step for you based on your current situation. So that's RamseySolutions.com and click on Get Started. All right, up next, we have Heather joining us from Flagstaff, Arizona. Hey, Heather, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Hey, thanks for calling. How can we help?
Well, I'm in an interesting position where my ex-husband is dying of cancer. He just was notified last week that he maybe has about a month to live.
I'm so sorry. So sorry, Heather.
Yeah, thank you. So he and I, when we were married, we both got term life insurance policies.
Speak directly into your phone, Heather. We're having a hard time hearing you.
I'm sorry. Is this any better?
That's better. Thank you.
Okay. Sorry. So we have term life insurance policies, and I am the beneficiary of his policy because we do have 2 children together. And I guess my question is, when he passes, should I anticipate that I will pay for his funeral with that money, even if I'm not permitted to plan it because because we're divorced, or what? I guess I'm wondering, like, what should I maybe anticipate?
Who else would be involved with the planning?
His mom and dad. He's currently living with his mom and stepdad, and so they'll probably head up the planning. But his dad and stepmom are also around and may be able to help pay for that. I'm not sure.
Well, do you know anything about their financial situation?
I know that his mom and stepdad are not. They make a lot of money, but they spend it all. And his dad has been very good at saving and is worth probably a couple $1 million.
Oh, wow. Okay. So what are your kids' ages?
They're 6 and 9.
And how much is the term life insurance?
It's for $750,000.
Okay. Have you had any conversations with family and his parents regarding the funeral arrangements?
Not yet. I've inquired with him as to his desires and thoughts on the matter, and he has yet to get back to me. But he's not doing well, so his ability to communicate is limited. And so I'm just wanting to know that, I guess, get your opinion, like if they come to me saying, well, he has this life insurance, why should we pay for it? That I kind of have an idea of how I should respond, my best.
As far as your legal obligation, I don't think you have one. As far as the relational piece of this equation and emotionally and the kids being involved and the parents being involved, the funeral would probably cost, how much do you think? $15,000?
That's what I'm guessing, yeah. 15,
okay.
20.
It could be lower depending on the situation in your area, but I would at least start to get a picture of what that looks like and start talking to family about it. You don't want any of this to be a surprise and have people angry when you're already grieving this wild loss. So my next step would be to at least if you can't communicate with him, communicate with the family and say, hey, what would the next steps be? How do we want to handle this?
Well, and for sure, starting with the conversation, it's a hard conversation to have, obviously. But then, just kind of depending on that, how that conversation goes, I would settle in your own spirit beforehand that you may end up paying for it. And that's okay. Because I know a lot of times with funerals, emotions are high. I have heard of so many funeral situations where families get in big fights over money and they end up not talking. And it just gets really, really messy. And given that you do have the money, I would just settle. If you do have to pay for it for the kids' sake, for your own peace of mind, I would just not allow the money behind the funeral to break things down.
Okay.
And another option is just to go, hey, can we all split this evenly with the immediate family? I want to use this money to help set the kids up for financial success, whether that's paying for college, paying off debts that we have as I continue raising them. And so I don't think there's anything wrong with you stating those facts. Are you in a good financial situation?
Mediocre. I have just a little bit of debt I'm trying to pay, but
and you have a mortgage?
I don't. We rent. It's just me and my 2 kids, and I haven't had any financial support from him since we've been divorced. So
okay, so there hasn't been any ongoing child support, alimony.
No, he hasn't been able to work. So.
Yeah, wow. It's a messy situation, but I mean, and this is just a lot of times when we're in these situations, it's like if I were in your shoes, I would protect the peace in my home at all costs. I mean, not at all costs. You have $750,000, but if it costs the funeral expenses, I would make sure that my peace of mind, the peace of mind of my children, is that they're protected. As someone who lost a father to cancer at 7 years old, I know that having my mom be able to feel peace through that situation really helped my brother and I. And I think if there was huge turmoil among the family and there were a lot of arguments, that would have made it 10 times harder on us. So obviously, we talk about money here. Money is important. Being strategic with your money is important, but this is also a highly emotional situation, and I would not allow this situation to break down the relationship with your children's grandparents. I wouldn't allow this situation to be something that, causes a lot of strife and discord and turmoil in the family.
And make sure that there is a will that is in place, signed, that's up to date. Go over it with the family. It's not a fun thing to do, but it's going to prevent a lot of relational turmoil down the road. And if there's an executor of that will, that would be who would traditionally take care of the funeral arrangements and potentially pay for it. But again, there's no real hard and fact rule against around that. So this is going to be some hard conversations, and I would be prepared to pay for it, like Christina said. And it's a small part of that life insurance, and it's one of the reasons we tell people to get it in place, because it takes the financial stress out of something that is already so difficult to deal with.
Yeah, and it's just a good reminder for anyone listening to really think through those end-of-life situations. I know it's not a fun conversation to have. It's kind of scary. It's kind of sticky, but making sure you have term life insurance, making sure that you have a will done so that your family doesn't have to stress and go through a bunch of strife if you do pass. That's just good to handle.
Well, so sorry to hear about your situation, Heather. Wishing you guys the best.
Yeah. Next up, we have Fernando calling from Corpus Christi, Texas. Hey, Fernando. Welcome to the show.
Hey, guys, I made it.
You made it. Get right to the question. We're up against the clock. I want to make sure we can get to it.
All righty. So my wife and I are getting ready to purchase our first home. We found the perfect house in the price range that we wanted it, with the interest rate that gets our payment right where we want it. The thing is, we are on a lease in a house that ends in July. There is a house that is finishing building in July 15, perfect timeline. But there's another one in March that will be ready then, and they can guarantee us a 5.5% rate on our loan. So my question is, do I rush the move and move in March, or do I wait until July to finish my lease and gamble what the interest rate will be then?
So when you say rush, what are the financial implications? Are you ready to make that purchase in March?
I have my emergency fund ready. I am about $3,000 or $4,000 short right now, but by March, I should have it.
For the down payment?
With my Yes, for the down payment.
Okay. So what percentage would that down payment be if you had all of it?
5%.
Oh, 5%. And that's on a 15-year fixed rate mortgage or 30?
30.
Okay. Well, truthfully, Fernando, putting 5% down on a 30-year feels like you're not ready to step into home ownership. And so I would press pause, and I'm not going to be as concerned about the interest rate if it's going to be 1% more, because if that whole thing sways your decision, then that scares me walking into that financial situation. So I would pause. I would try to get 10% down on a 15-year fixed rate where the payment's no more than a quarter of your take-home pay, and then you're ready to step into home ownership. Appreciate the question.
Well, that puts this hour of The Ramsey Show in the books. Thanks to the guys in the booth. Thanks to you, America, for listening. We'll be back soon. This is The Ramsey Show. Hey, it's Christina Ellis. If you like what you heard in this episode and want to know more about getting started on the Ramsey baby steps, go to RamseySolutions.com and click on the Get Started button. We'll help you figure out the best next step for you based on your specific situation. That's RamseySolutions.com and click Get Started. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pods Moving and Storage Studio, it's The Ramsey Show, where America hangs out to have a conversation about your life and your money. I'm Ramsey personality Christina Ellis, joined today by my co-host, fellow Ramsey personality and good friend, George Hamill. We're taking your calls at 888-825-5225. Again, that's 888-825-5225. Hey, if you like the show, please consider subscribing, leaving a review, and sharing it with a friend. It really helps. We're excited to chat this hour. Ready to talk to you, America. Kicking off this hour, we have Madison calling from Burlington, Iowa. Hey, Madison, welcome to the show.
Hi.
Hey, how can we help?
How are you?
We're doing great. Excited to chat with you.
So my husband and I have been together for 7 years, and we have made some not wonderful choices.
Welcome to the club. We've all been there.
Yeah, so my husband travels for work, and so we bought a camper because we traveled all over the country, and that was, at the time, we thought a better option than renting at different places all over and moving every who knows how long. So now we have that, and we went kind of wild so that we still have like $49,000 left to pay on that. But we also have a home, and we have a baby who's almost 2 now, and so we're trying to sell our camper because my husband doesn't want to travel anymore, and so we have that. We have his truck, and we have my car, which I have a lease on. Pretty much all of which we have regrets.
So
and they're all on payments?
Yes.
Okay.
What is the total debt you all have?
So without our house, it's $77,000. And then our house, we owe just a little under $100,000.
Okay, and you said y'all don't want to travel anymore, but your husband did travel for work. Has that situation changed?
Yes. So he has taken a pay cut to be home, and I have started a dog grooming business out of our home so that I can help supplement that income.
So what's your current household income?
About $125,000.
Cool. And what's left on the truck loan and the car loan? Or the car lease?
The truck we have about $10,000, and then my car, if I was going to trade it in today, I'd have to pay $8,765.
Okay. Now, have you found out the early buyout amount to get out of this lease?
That's what that is.
Okay. And how much money do you guys have in the bank?
About $7,000.
Okay.
In our savings.
How much do you think you could get for the camper if you sold that?
We'd like to get $45,000 for it.
Okay, so you're underwater by a few grand, and you've got the money in the bank to cover the difference?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That would probably be my A1, because you'll clear most of the debt just from that camper and clear up that payment.
Yeah, and then my husband's truck, it's probably worth about $40,000. So I'm trying to talk him into selling that like as soon as possible. So then, because it's a diesel truck and he drives 45 minutes each way for work.
Ooh, that's rough.
Fuel is about $700 a month just in fuel for his truck.
So if you sold the truck for 40 and he owes 10, you could clear 30,000 on that, which then pays off your buyout for your lease.
Yes.
And still leaves you with a bunch of money left over.
Right, and I think he should get a car, and he needs to get, he thinks he wants to get, a smaller truck. But I'm like, I don't think that's very good on fuel either for the moment. So I'm trying to tell him that it's not a forever car, but it's kind of a difficult conversation.
It's hard to get rid of the truck. But, I mean, that could really get y'all ahead.
I know.
I see the light at the end of this tunnel, and it's not far, but it's going to take some initial big sacrifices and just some headaches of, all right, we got to sell the camper. We're going to spend our own $5,000 out of our bank to cover the difference. And then we're going to sell the truck for 40. We're going to have 30 left over after that. We're going to buy you a reasonable, economical used car.
Yeah.
And then with the rest of the money, we're going to pay off my car. And now we're kind of at square one, where we don't have any payments except the mortgage, and we can save up a fully funded emergency fund, and now we're off to the races.
Yeah, I also have about $13,000 in credit card debt.
Oh.
Is that part of the 77?
Yes.
Okay. So we're just going to debt snowball it. Once this camper's paid off, just list out all of those debts from smallest to largest, and if we're selling that truck too, that really helps speed this whole thing up.
Yeah.
And so whatever the lowest balance is after you sell the vehicles, the camper and the truck, then we're going to attack the smallest one with a vengeance, and then the next one, and with making 125, you guys can do this in the next few months.
Yeah, I've kind of never been very good at money, and I put our budget together and saw how much I was spending, and I am now like a crazy person, wanting to spend every dollar I have to pay off debt.
Well, now you know too much. You've seen too much. You're like, oh gosh, we can never go back, which is an awesome feeling. Have you cut up the credit card yet?
Yes, and one of them was metal, and so I had my husband, he's a welder, so I made him grind off the numbers.
Wow, that's next level.
That
tells me that's gazelle intense. So is he on board with this whole plan? Is he ready to sell the camper and the truck and do all of this to get out of debt?
Yes, it was just kind of getting him a car was kind of like the biggest struggle.
Well, it sounds like he's just a truck guy through and through, and he refuses to drive a sedan.
Yeah.
What about, can we split the difference? Can we go with a reasonable SUV that has good fuel economy?
I think so. I think he deer hunts, so he's like, I don't want to throw a deer on top of this car. And I'm like, who cares? It's for a year.
That would be quite a sight to see.
Oh, my goodness. Just a deer on top of a Honda Civic.
Well, what about a cheaper truck?
Yeah. So we've looked at that, but cheaper trucks, I don't think they're it's like a GMC, older Colorado, and I don't think that would be very good on gas for going back and forth.
I feel like this truck might be a future dream, and right now we get ourselves to a great financial spot, and then later on he can get a cheap little truck just for the deer hunting.
Yes.
That feels like the better plan. But right now, to base our entire financial plan on putting a deer on a car, this is a bad lens to look at this. And if John Deloney was here, he would be in support of your husband. So I'm glad Dr. John is not on this call.
I'm all for the deer hunting, but I'm like, I don't think we need a gas-guzzling truck right now.
Well, there's an order to the madness. It goes debt freedom, then deer hunting. So we just need our priorities set straight. So have him listen to this call. But you know what to do, Madison. And now it's just getting about the business of selling the camper, selling the truck, paying off the debt. Let's get the emergency fund. Let's go find the other car. This is going to be a part-time job for the next month, but you are going to walk away with such freedom and peace that you've set yourself up for. We're here for it.
Yeah, and I think as you map all that out, you can see that light at the end of the tunnel, it's really not that far. Thankfully, you do have big things to sell, so I think you're going to get there quicker than you imagine, and you can get that truck again. Woo. We'll be right back. This is The Ramsey Show.
I say it all the time. If you're a business owner and you don't know your numbers, you don't know your business. And when markets are shifting, it's even more important. You've got to know where you stand so you make your next move the right move. And you don't have to be in the dark here. Over 31,000 businesses, including my team at Ramsey, know their numbers because they use NetSuite by Oracle, the #1 cloud financial system. NetSuite gives you visibility and control of your financials, planning, budgeting, and inventory so you can manage risk, get reliable forecasts, and improve margins. Having everything in one place has saved my team hours each week since we made the switch to NetSuite. NetSuite is a game changer. So head on over to netsuite.com/Ramsey to get a product tour today. That's netsuite.com/Ramsey.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. Give us a call at 888-825-5225. We're talking about your life and your money. Y'all, so I've been doing No Spend January with my community on social media, and it has been quite a learning experience for me.
Is this kind of like an eat, pray, love journey for you? You're learning about yourself?
Kind of feels that way.
Okay, where are you at now? Have you been surviving it?
We've been surviving it. We have been eating on under $100 a week on groceries. We've actually kept it pretty well under that.
What is this, 1997? You're throwing it back? That's amazing.
Throwing it back, George.
And this is mainly due to shopping at like Aldi and not being very, very intentional with every single dollar.
Being very intentional. I think I've shared this before that it felt like last year it's so easy with inflation and with all these things going on for your budget to get kind of fluffed up. And I felt that way. And I kind of hit the end of the year and was like, this isn't okay. We need to tighten back in. We need to buckle down. So we're going to do this. And it's been really interesting. So I want to share a few of the things that I've been learning so far because I've kind of hit that point mid-January where it's like you get over the hump. A lot of people have goals, resolutions, and there's all these stats saying that about mid-January is when people start going, maybe I messed up with this goal. Maybe I shouldn't have signed up for a no spend. And I'm going to be really honest. I've had a few of those moments where I'm like, oh my gosh, this is kind of hard. But at the same time, leaning into it, I'm like, okay, I'm learning some good things. One is mindful spending. You know, I thought I had pretty good self-control, and I think I do, but I've had several moments where my brain has wanted to act like a toddler and be like, I want that now.
What's one of those things?
Oh my gosh. So last weekend, I was sitting in my son's room. It was kind of a mess. You know, after Christmas, we got all these new toys from family, and I was struggling to figure out how to organize it. And I was like, I need a new shelf. And I literally...
A shelf?
A shelf. That was going to solve all my problems.
I've never been excited about a shelf. That is next level.
It was very exciting. And I sat there like literally going through my mind, trying to justify how it was essential and could qualify for the no spend challenge.
Wow.
But I did hold off and I was like, okay, I'm gonna hold off. The next day, I still woke up thinking like, I need that shelf. But I was like, I've committed to a community of people that I am not gonna spend on non-essential items this month. And so I did not buy it. And then fast forward a few days and I realized I don't actually need the shelf, George.
You don't need more storage.
I actually need to declutter.
Less crap.
Right? I need less crap. So it's interesting how we often will just jump to spending and buying something to solve a problem when in reality, that's really not fixing the problem. And so just challenging myself to go, okay, like what is the real issue here if I don't just try to solve my problem immediately with buying something?
It's the American way. I can't tell you how many garages I pass in my neighborhood, and they're just filled to the brim with boxes. There are no cars in the garages. They can't fit. The nice cars on payments are in the driveway because there's too much crap in the garage. That is how we have become broke, America.
Exactly.
Wow. All right, food is another big one. And I've seen some users jump in with their comments. Chris Marlowe said $48 was our grocery bill this week for a family of 4 during No Spend January. That's impressive.
Yes. I feel like all sorts of people are winning with this. Of course, we have skeptics we'll talk about here in a minute, but there are a lot of people who've committed to this challenge at the beginning of the year, and they are winning. Bill James wrote, "You and George inspired my wife and I on the podcast with no spend month. We were fluffed up to $1,300 a month, barely eating out. On Sunday, I went to Aldi with our list. I used a calculator as I walked around." I love that. "I initially went in trying to beat $100 and walked away with a cart full and a week's worth of groceries for $75. Thank you and your team for all you do." I love that.
That's incredible.
It is so cool to see people challenging themselves and people who thought, I'm decent with my grocery budget. I don't spend anything crazy. But then when they get really mindful and they really create a meal plan and they really create a list when they go into the store, seeing just how much they can save and how quickly they can get ahead.
Oh, yeah. Can I read the comment from the skeptic?
Yeah.
I'm going to read it how I think they wrote it. "I'm sorry, no. Don't tell the rest of us to spend less and be smarter. We shouldn't have to, as you say, cut it back and shop sales to survive." Does that sound accurate? I think that's how they said it.
That was incredible, George.
Thank you, James.
That felt very accurate.
It just has that attitude of, I don't want to change. I don't want to sacrifice. I'm happy being mediocre, and anything you're doing to better yourself is offensive to me.
I mean, I kind of felt that way.
That's today's society, Christina.
But at the same time, we can't control the system. Of course, we're frustrated that, grocery prices have gone up. I would love for it to be cheaper. That would be great. But I can't control that. So I'm going to think through, what can I control? What can I do for me and my family to make progress? And it's if you have that attitude that you're a victim, that, you're just going to complain about the situation and not do anything, you're never going to win.
Absolutely.
You're never going to get ahead.
Christina, I got a lot of flack for my reel I posted saying it's cheaper to eat at home than to eat out, and everyone's like, "Are you insane? Have you been to this guy hasn't been to the grocery store since 1998." And so I just want to give you guys the middle ground here because I actually live this stuff out. I went to Sam's Club and Costco, these wholesale clubs, and I'm a soup guy. I love a good soup. And so Sam's Club has this, Mediterranean-style lentil soup, very on brand for me as someone who is Mediterranean, and it's $8 for a 2-pack of these giant containers. So if you do the math, it's less than $2 a serving.
That's amazing.
So you can feed a family of 4 for $8, and it doesn't require 1,000 dishes, and your time is so valuable that you can't... Listen, you just heat it up in the microwave or on the stovetop, and dinner's ready in 5 minutes. There's no excuse to do this.
It's healthy.
And it's healthy.
That's a win all the way around, so it can be done. And then finally, the last thing that's really stuck out in my head is I learned recently about this concept of third spaces. So our first space is our home, our second space is our work, and our third space is kind of where we go to hang out and have fun. And it's so easy nowadays to make that third space the mall, TJ Maxx, or some sort of store.
Target.
That
definitely is the top of the list.
Yeah, you hit me right in the heart, George. And it's that if you surround yourself in those moments with things that make you want to spend money, you're going to be more likely to bust your budget. So thinking through what are third spaces that don't require you to spend money. I know a lot of people think that this is a relic of the past, but the public library, y'all, it is amazing. Check out your local public library. They have free books that you can rent. A lot of times, I posted this on social media, and a lot of people were sharing that their libraries will let you rent toys, that they'll let you rent lawn equipment, which is just bonkers and amazing to me. Also, parks and playgrounds. A lot of cities have amazing free parks. They're always building these new incredible parks. We're actually this month going on a tour of the parks around Nashville.
Wow. That is the nerdiest, hippest thing I've heard in a while.
I love it. I mean, in your church, if you have a church community, get involved there, and then be creative with your friend group. Consider rotating houses, doing potlucks or dessert nights, and creating fun, free spaces where you can hang out. And I mean, this one has been a big challenge to me because this is going to sound terrible. I'm kind of embarrassed to admit this, but, we moved last year, and on Friday nights, we've got 2 little kids. We're trying to keep them happy, keep them entertained. We're exhausted on Friday night. And we started using TJ Maxx as our third space.
Oh, wow.
TJ Maxx or Target, because it's got a great kids section. The kids will be entertained. We can kind of decompress. And
raise up those Maxinistas, Christina. Respect.
I think I can do better than that.
That's fun.
Yeah, so it's been good. It's been very humbling. It's been humbling and awesome, and it's great to do it in community. And it's also a good reminder of when you're making these big financial changes, when you're going through challenges with your finances, when you're getting gazelle intense, to get in community with it. Like, honestly, there have been several moments where I've tried to justify things in my head, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to lie to my friends. I'm not going to lie to my Instagram community who is doing this challenge with me. Like, I feel accountable. And so it's just so important too with FPU. If you're in Financial Peace University, if you are on baby step 2, if you're trying to get gazelle intense, surround yourself with people who have similar goals, who have similar values. Community, that accountability factor is so huge.
I love it. Well, hey, continue on the journey with us with this No Spend Month. We'd love to hear how you're doing that. You can send an email to ask@ramseysolutions.com and put No Spend Month in the subject line. We'd love to hear creative ways you are saving that cash.
Let's go. We'll be right back. This is The Ramsey Show.
If you're like most people, your home is your most valuable asset. And when you want to make improvements, it can feel like everything costs too much or takes too long. But something as simple as custom window coverings from Blinds.com can completely change your space and add value to your home. We've recommended Blinds.com for over a decade, so you know you can trust them. From blinds, drapes, and shutters to motorized shades, they make it easy and affordable to upgrade your entire home, and their team is ready to help with everything from design consultation to measuring and installation. Plus, there are never any misleading quotes or hidden fees. Everything's backed by their 100% satisfaction guarantee, and shipping is always free. See why Blinds.com is the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings. Visit Blinds.com to save up to 45% off everything site-wide. Go to Blinds.com now to learn more.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm Christina Ellis, joined today by my friend George Camel. We are taking your calls at 888-825-5225. Next up, we have Luke calling from Toms River, New Jersey. Hey, Luke, welcome to the show.
How you guys doing?
We're doing well. How about you?
Good. So I have about maybe $19,000 in debt, being probably about like $4,000 on my car, and then just a little under $15,000 in student loans. I just learned that I don't have any interest on my student loans until August. So I make about $2,300 a month, and I just want to be able to pay that off before August, so I don't have the interest occur. And I'm able to make my car payments and car insurance payments as well, but I want to be able to invest and save at the same time. But should I do that, or should I be spending more on my student loans?
So you're not paying interest on the student loans because you just graduated recently, or because of the student loan forgiveness proposal?
There's a CARE Act, I guess they have on the student loans.
The payments are paused.
Yes.
Okay.
So
when did you graduate?
August, I just graduated trade school in October.
Okay.
How old are you?
24.
Okay. Cool. Well, it's an awesome goal, and I'm glad you're asking this question, and you should absolutely pause all investing until you've got this debt out of your life and you have a fully funded emergency fund of 3 to 6 months of expenses. Do you have any money in the bank right now?
Yeah, I have about $6,000.
Awesome.
So what I planned on doing was doing $1,500 towards my student loans a month, up until that August, until that last month. And then whatever remaining balance I had, I was going to pay it off.
What's your car payment?
So, I have about it's like $270 a month, and with car insurance, it's about $165. So about $430, $440 a month between those two.
So what if you paid off that car loan today and you freed up $270 to start throwing extra onto the student loan payments?
Yeah,
let me rephrase that.
About that.
Pay off the car today and use the $270 to start paying off your student loans.
Okay.
So if you're following the baby steps, which is the same way I got out of $40,000 worth of debt, you would go down to $1,000 in emergency fund savings temporarily and use all extra money to pay off consumer debt aggressively.
Okay.
So that's the plan. As long as you can make your other bills with your future cash flow, that would be the plan.
Luke, what's your hesitation?
I don't know, just kind of planning it out and making sure it's going in the right spot.
Okay.
I guess since I already know my interest on my car, I have that stuff. I just want to be able to have that remaining balance so I can pay it off in the last month for my student loans.
You're going to make more progress if you use all the money you have except for that $1,000 to pay off the debt today, because you're freeing up a payment. And so that $270 working for you instead of against you, with interest, by the way, is going to help you get rid of those student loans by August. Can you do any extra side work as well? Because it sounds like right now are you working full-time?
Yeah, I'm working full-time, but I do have a job that I worked in the past. This is my first full-time job. That does happen in the spring and summer that I could do, once a week with them on the weekends. Well, I'd probably be making about like $200 a day with that, and that would really be it.
Wow, that would speed up that debt snowball process for sure.
Yes, definitely.
Luke, I kind of feel like you're at a crossroad, right? You obviously are calling into the show, which is amazing, and you've got this idea to pay off the debt, and you've got the idea to pay off the student loan. And on the other hand, it's easy to kind of slack because it's not super pressing right now. I don't know that you've had like a complete I've had it moment that a lot of people have had when they have $100,000 in debt. But I would encourage you, like this call, if you walk out these steps, if you pay off this debt, if you start investing and following the baby steps, you're young. You have the potential to be a baby steps millionaire, in 10 to 20 years. Like you have the chance right now to do this the right way. But it's a little tricky because there are so many, different TikTok influencers are out there. There's so many different people who are going to tell you like the student loan debt's not bad, that you can just kind of stretch it out, wait for forgiveness, all these different things. But I hope that you're willing to say in this moment, like, I've had it, even if it's not a huge amount of debt, even if you've just graduated, but like make the decision to really fight now, because it's like, if you do that, you will be so much further ahead than so many adults who wait to pay off their debt, who wait to start investing. Like you're going to get there, but do it the right way. Even if it feels slow at the moment, even if you don't get to do the flashy investing right now, like you will get there.
So let me show you what this looks like on paper. If you got $6,000 in the bank, you owe $4,000 on the car. That leaves you with $2,000 if you pay off the car today. We're going to throw one of those $2,000 at the student loans. Now our student loans are down to $14,000. You want to pay them off by August? Great. You got $14,000 and you want to pay it off in 7 months. That's $2,000 a month. So now we need to figure out how can we create $2,000 worth of margin to throw at the student loans to pay it off by August. It's that simple and it's that hard. And so your goal now is to get the income up and follow these steps so that you can be completely debt-free by August. Your next goal by August is to start up that emergency fund of 3 to 6 months. So by the end of the year, dude, you'll be in a completely different place financially.
Oh, yeah, I know. I knew I could do this. I just didn't know where to really start. And, now you said, like, just get the car payment done, and then you can focus on student loans, because I just don't want interest. Nobody wants interest.
Well, you're going to feel the progress immediately if you follow it this way. And remember, we're not doing any investing because every single ounce and penny of margin needs to be focused on that debt. You got this, man. Thanks for the call.
Hang on the line, Luke. We're going to get you in Financial Peace University. Austin's going to pick up. We're going to gift that to you to help you walk through these steps one by one, doing it the right way. All right, next up, we have Ethan calling from Salt Lake City, Utah. Hey, Ethan, welcome to the show.
Hey, guys, appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for calling. How can we help?
Well, I'm on baby steps 4, 5, and 6, and I got a retirement question. I put into a Roth 401k at my work, but they limit me to 10% per year because of my income, and so I'm not able to quite reach the Roth cap or the 401k Roth cap. So on the side, I've got Roth set up so that me and my wife can put into them each year. But my question is, once I max those out, what is the next best option? And my company also offered this year this thing called a Super Roth, but it looks like it's really complicated and has super concerning tax stuff.
So there's two versions of the Super Roth. One is basically a scam involving index universal life insurance, and the other one is more of a mega backdoor Roth, is what it's traditionally called, which is after-tax contributions to the 401k.
Yeah, it's that one.
Okay.
I researched it to make sure, because when I seen that it was whole life, I'm like, whoa, no way.
Okay, cool. So you're saying they cap you at 10%? You don't even hit the Roth 401k limit?
Not quite. So I came close last year within a few $1,000s, but I mean, I don't know what it'll be this year. I'm hoping I'll still get to the max here.
So what is your income?
Around 180.
I've never heard where they won't even let you max out your 401k.
That's because of highly compensated employees. It's some loophole that between the Labor Department and IRS that they cap individuals that make over 130 to. It don't make sense to me, but I called up several different ladders and made sure there's no way around it without going to a different 401k plan, which they don't offer.
So your other options would then be, do you guys make too much for the Roth IRA contributions?
I'm not sure what you mean, like outside my work, is that what you mean?
There are income limits for the Roth IRA outside of work. So look into that to see if you guys hit that cap on the AGI. And if you can't contribute to the Roth IRA, you could do what's called a backdoor Roth, where you contribute to a traditional IRA and then you convert it into Roth. So I would be connecting with a SmartVestor Pro at RamseySolutions.com. For a high earner, you want to know all of the strategies you can use to build wealth, and there are a ton out there that we don't have time for here. So connect with a SmartVestor Pro, and they can help navigate for your situation.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. Hey, give us a call at 888-825-5225. We're taking your calls on your life, your money, your mental health, your career, whatever is on your mind today.
We're here for you. Hey, if that Peloton bike you got in 2020 is still sitting unused in your garage, you know the difference between goals and resolutions. And that is a personal attack on me, because that was us, and we sold it because we were not using it. Goals are things you actually set out to achieve, and resolutions are the things you say, that'd be nice if I could, but, it ain't going to happen. So if you've got goals to improve your money, your career, your relationships this year, don't let them hang out in your garage for 3 years. Okay, maybe not the best metaphor. You know what I mean. Get the practical, proven plan to crush the debt and build wealth with Dave Ramsey's best-selling book, The Total Money Makeover, and learn the 7 baby steps to guide you along your money journey. If every day feels like Monday for you, maybe it's time to find your true talents or a new career, and you can do that with Ken Coleman's Get Clear Career Assessment to learn what you were created to do and what careers fit you best. And some of us are still recovering from the holidays, and if you're looking to deepen your relationships with your spouse, your kids, your friends, your family, be sure to pick up his new Questions for Humans decks from our friend, Dr. John Deloney. And never mind the Peloton. Get some books and tools that will actually take your goals way beyond the dusty garage. You can check out all of those books and order them today at RamseySolutions.com/store.
And it's such a good time for it, because we are in that time of the month where we start losing a little bit of steam on those goals and resolutions. And I think it's one of those times to kind of check yourself and go, you know what? I started this year really wanting this goal. I really wanted to do this. I felt motivated, and it's kind of waning. But literally at any moment you can say, here's the moment where I'm going to get motivated again. I'm going to dive in. So, let it be your wake-up call. If you're starting to lose some steam, dive back in.
Well, the problem is, Christina, shopping for the workout clothes is really fun. Doing the workout, way less fun. And it feels that way with your money, too. The idea of, wow, getting on a budget and saving, that sounds awesome. Doing it's hard. And so these books will inspire you to greatness. I know Total Money Makeover lit a fire under me when I read it a decade ago, and I know it continues to do the same for thousands of you out there.
So good. All right, let's go back to the phones. Next up, we have Will calling from Memphis, Tennessee. Hey, Will, welcome to the show.
How are y'all doing?
We're doing well. How can we help?
Well, my father died in 2021, and we're getting around to selling his estate deal now. And we sold a minority interest in a company he had, and he didn't have a will. And so when that money comes in, it'll be divided by 4, and each kid would roughly be sitting at about $300,000 in an inheritance. And I just want to get advice on how not to squander the opportunity that I do have.
Will, we're so sorry for what you're going through. That's a lot to process.
How old are you?
19.
Wow. How old was your dad?
66, I believe.
Oh, man.
How's the family doing right now?
Well, last year was a rough one, but it's getting better.
Yeah.
Where are you at financially?
I'm doing pretty good. I have no debt. 19, my income's anywhere between 35 and 40 a year.
What do you do right now?
Well, my father owned a couple of the Sonic drive-ins, and I was working there trying to go into that role, and now I've lost a passion for that, and I'm trying to pursue real estate as my career.
Do you want to be a real estate agent?
Yes.
Okay, so right now, you've had some time to think about this money. What is kind of your dream and vision with this money?
Well, I know I can get a head start on investing in the whole deal. And, I know I can take a little bit of it and enjoy it, obviously, but because that's what he would want me to do. But it's just, I don't know. I've never been good at managing money for the most part, and this is a large sum of money.
Well, that self-awareness is so important, and I'm glad you have that. And the good news is we can move slow. We don't have to make any rash decisions in the next few months. When is this money actually going to be sitting in that account?
I think we're sitting like a month away.
Okay. Well, I would let it sit there until you know what to do next. Luckily, you don't have any debt. Do you have any money in the bank currently in savings?
I've got about $5,000 in savings right now.
Okay, awesome. So I would look at fully funding your emergency fund. That $5,000 is a great start. It may look more like $10,000 for you for 3 to 6 months of expenses. Are you renting right now, or are you a homeowner?
I'm still living with my mom doing some online school.
Okay, cool. So we're not in a spot where we're needing to go purchase a home. Do you have a reliable car?
Somewhat, yeah.
Okay, so maybe we allocate a small portion of that to upgrade to a used car that we pay for with cash that is, I'm going to say less than $15,000 in your position with your income, because we don't want too much of your life tied up in that depreciating asset.
Okay.
And beyond that, you want to start building what we call the dream team. And so when you have a large sum of money, now we have to look into insurance. So you need a good insurance agent. You're going to need a good investing professional. You might need a good estate planning attorney. And you might need a tax attorney. And when it comes time to buy a house, you're going to want a great real estate agent. And so with all those together, you can find a lot of those at RamseySolutions.com and click on Ramsey Recommends to start assembling that team. But they will help, with the heart of a teacher, guide you through this process to help you make the most of this money and protect it too, right? You want to protect this wealth that was so generously left to you through your dad's legacy.
Yeah, and Will, we're going to get you into Financial Peace University as well. You mentioned that your not good with money, but the fact that you don't have any debt and you've got $5,000 in the bank, I actually think you're better at money than you realize. And going into this new season of your life, having this large chunk of money, we want you to learn how to build wealth with this money. We want to see you take this money that your dad left you and honor his legacy, building wealth and really getting you to an amazing financial situation. So hang on the line. Austin's going to pick up. I really believe that this is going to be something that you can invest well. You'll steward it well. The fact that you're even calling today just gives me great hope for what you're going to do with it. Sorry about your loss, but we are with you. Our hearts are with you, Will. All right. Next up, we have Lily calling from Raleigh, North Carolina. Hey, Lily, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for calling. How can we help?
So we just started the baby steps, and we're on baby step number 2. And I start student teaching in August. I'm currently a stay-at-home mom. So I was just curious, how do I go about paying off my debt as well as being able to afford childcare to get my degree?
Ooh. So what is your household income right now?
We take home about $32,000, but we don't have to pay rent because we live on a military base.
Oh, great. I breathe a heavy sigh a little bit because of childcare. Man, it's a lot. I was talking to a team.
It's like a mortgage payment every month.
Yeah. I was just talking to a team member yesterday, and she was touring a daycare, and it was literally the cost of some people's mortgage.
So do you know what childcare would cost?
Based on my calculations, about between $5,500 and $6,000. That's for the whole time I'm student teaching.
Okay. And will you have any income while you're student teaching?
I will not be able to make anything, no.
Okay. And what about your husband?
Yes, he will be working. It'll be about $32,000 for the year.
Is he working full-time?
Yes.
Is he able to do more work on the side?
I'm not sure. He's active duty military, so
okay. Well,
try.
With the student teaching, is this something you could take a pause on while we pay off the debt?
The school says I have to complete it within 1 year.
Okay. How much is the debt total?
$38,000.
All right. I'm going to try to sell everything we can. If there's a car that can be sold because we're not using it, get rid of that. But we need to find some way to bring in some income to cover these bills.
And even if you work odd hours where it's like, whenever your husband's home sleeping with a kid and you can go out and take a night job, I know it's not easy and I know that that's not going to be fun. But if it's just for a season, I know you can power through that. That puts this hour of The Ramsey Show in the books. Thanks for listening, America. Thanks to the guys in the booth. We'll be back soon.
Hey, George Camel here. If you love the show and you want a deeper dive on your money journey, we've got a weekly newsletter that gives you helpful articles and tips on following the Ramsey way. Just go to RamseySolutions.com today to sign up for the newsletter. Again, that's RamseySolutions.com to sign up for our weekly newsletter.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pods Moving and Storage Studio, it's The Ramsey Show, where America hangs out to have a conversation about your life and your money. I'm Christina Ellis, Ramsey personality, joined today by my friend and fellow Ramsey personality, George Camel. We're taking your calls at 888-825-5225. Kicking off this hour, we have John in Paducah, Kentucky. Hey, John, welcome to the show.
Hey.
Hey, how can we help?
I have some questions about the Financial Peace University. I'm really interested in it, and my wife is very skeptical.
Tell us about her skepticism.
Well, there's so many online influencers that she just thinks it's all a scam.
Uh-oh.
What kind of scam are we running here, John? I'm curious. Well, how does she define scam?
I don't know. I'm really interested in Financial Peace University. I was wondering if I could hear a few more things about it.
Well, I'll tell you this. Most scams out there for online courses all involve you making a lot of money really fast. Get rich quick, right?
Right.
We promise get rich really slow. So it's kind of like the opposite of a scam because it actually involves you doing hard work and us doing very little other than telling you that you can do it and showing you the path. And so this is simply, this online course was something Dave Ramsey has been doing for 30 years now. 10 million people have gone through Financial Peace University. They've changed their family tree by getting out of debt and building wealth, and none of it involved some sneaky investment thing. It was just, hey, you paid to go through a course one time, and then we gave you the tools to go do it.
I want to hear more, and this may just be my own curiosity, but I want to hear more about the scams that she's running into. So is it, I mean, obviously there might be
She hasn't ran into any scams. She just thinks I'm crazy for listening to things I hear online, you know?
Well, most of the stuff we put out there is free. And so I don't know many scammers that are like, here's all our cards on the table, and if you want to go through this course, you can do that. So, I mean, I'm happy to gift it to you. I don't know if you were calling in hoping to do that, but hey, you know, I'm happy to gift it to you and your wife for free. So it involves $0, and we're not going to ask you for money later. There's no love offering at the end of the 9 weeks. We just want to help people build wealth and get out of debt.
No, I wasn't hoping for that. I was truly just curious. She was curious, and I'm curious myself, you know. I just wanted to know more about it, honestly.
Well, the simplest way is there's 9 video lessons in there, and you can join a local class that are in your community in the Kentucky area. You can find one online, or you can go through it at home on your own terms, on your own time. And so you can watch each lesson. There's fill in the blanks. There's budgeting as a part of that through Every Dollar, our budgeting tool that's included in that. And each lesson just covers a different topic. And so we start with kind of the framework. We go into getting out of debt, having savings in the bank for emergencies, investing for the future. We talk about insurance. We talk about generosity. And so there's a lot of basic principles in there. This is common sense stuff that, you know, God and grandma talk about. And so there's nothing in here that's going to like blow your mind of like, oh, I didn't think about it that way.
It's the newest, coolest trend ever.
It's the least trendy thing out there.
Well, and John, I would encourage you to hop on Facebook. We have a really active baby steps community, and you can see a lot of people in there who are winning, who've done the steps, who are the best cheerleaders because they have literally just committed to the process, walked it out, and they're super successful in their finances now. And that's the beautiful thing about Dave having 30 years of experience is that you have so many people who sell it for us now because it's changed their lives. I mean, the proof is in the pudding, and I can't believe I just said that. That makes me sound like I'm 100. But the proof is all these people who are winning with money. So I encourage you to have her get on there and check it out because it's like they'll tell you why they won. They'll tell you how they were successful and just be really excited about it. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, most scams are easy for the person, you know, they say, hey, just give me some money. I'll 10X your money by tomorrow. Our plan is, hey, here's how to get out of debt. Now you have to go sell the car and work 3 jobs. So that's like the worst scam ever that we're running over here. And John, since it's free, I'll give you your money back if it doesn't work out for you. How's that?
I feel like that's a really good deal.
Killer deal.
All right, up next we have Tammy calling from Columbus, Ohio. Hey, Tammy, welcome to the show.
Thank you guys so much for taking my call. I love listening to you too.
Thanks for calling. How can we help today?
We're trying to help our daughter decide if she should start her PhD in the next fall, or get into the workforce with her master's. And we've had several phone calls, and she's met with her advisor. So I just wanted to see what you guys thought.
So tell us a little bit more. So she's got her master's right now. What did she study?
So she engineering. So she has her bachelor's in mechanical engineering. She'll graduate in the spring with her master's in industrial systems engineering.
And what does she want to do?
No student. Well, she wants to design prosthetics and heart valves and
cool.
And to stay in that area.
And you said she has no student loans?
We have no student loan debt. No, we did not.
That's
we have 2 kids debt free. But I have one finishing next year. She'll be a senior in college, and my other one is in grad school. But so no student loan debt, no debt at all for them. So
So tell us the difference.
We don't know what to do.
What do the career prospects look like between her going out right now with her master's degree and getting a job versus her getting a PhD?
So when she and I had talked, she had said, she's been at school for, 6 years, and she does enjoy what she's doing in grad school. But she said, well, I want to start working so I can start making money and putting in towards retirement. And so we had talked about that because the PhD will be 4 years. She met with her advisor, and he had told her, and she likes him, and he had told her, if you get your PhD, you kind of will be the top of your field, not just the top of the company, but in the long run, you'll make much more money in being able to call it your own shots. So her PhD is fully funded, plus a stipend to live on.
Does she want to do the PhD?
Well, and she really does enjoy what she's doing in mechanical engineering, but she also thinks that there are also wonderful opportunities for her, but she's afraid of the money that she's going to miss out on if she doesn't go into the workforce.
Is there an opportunity to do this PhD later? Can she get into the workforce and feel it out, figure out what she wants to do, and then an employer could fund that later if that helps her get to where she wants to go?
Well, we had talked to her about that because the university she's at now, it's a great school for engineering, and just with the opportunity of it being completely funded and the stipend, that was her concern, was she may not get this opportunity again.
Well, it sounds like some of that decision is out of fear, like
some FOMO there.
Yeah, like, missing out on the money in the future. But it sounds like she wants to go into the workforce now, that is her desire. And the reason to get a PhD is more fear-based. So if I'm in your shoes, I'm going into the workforce. I'm getting my feet wet. I'm making sure that, I love that form of engineering and just going for that.
What if she gets the PhD and then gets into the workforce and goes, oh, gosh, this ain't it.
Right. That
worries me more.
Specialized in a field that she doesn't actually love. So, I think that the route, but it's still kind of hard because of the FOMO. We'll be right back. This is The Ramsey Show. Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. Give us a call at 888-825-5225. Our question of the day comes from Cheyenne in Illinois. I'm currently a nurse with a monthly take-home pay of $3,734. After monthly expenses, I have about $1,300 left. I have $23,000 in debt, plus my car, plus my mortgage. Ooh.
Well, from her car. So she got $23K on the car, and then she has a mortgage aside from that.
There we go. I'm enrolled in a master's program and trying not to take on any further debt during my final 2 terms of school. I'm on a tuition payment plan for the current 6-month term and paying $986 a month for the first 4 months with no payments due during the last 2 months of the term. Should I consider the tuition as debt and save toward it during those 2 months when no money is due? Or should I place that extra money on my car payment? It's those 2 months of that term that I will have extra money until I have to make those payments for the next term.
Wow, this is like one of those math riddles in school where you have to reread it like 17 times. But here's what I gather from her scenario. So she's got $23K on the car, and then she has a mortgage. We're going to put the mortgage aside. Right now, the goal is to cash flow school, Cheyenne, and you've got $1,300 left every month to cash flow this, and you need $986, which is great. And so your goal, I wouldn't put anything towards the car until we have college fully paid for. We don't know what the future holds, so let's just focus on paying for school, avoiding debt. Once we graduate from the program, we can start attacking that car loan. And if you really hate it and you want to get out of this, you could sell the car and get something cheaper for now and upgrade later. So that's an option for you. But what I'm seeing is she needs about $4,000 for the first term and $4,000 for the second term.
Well, and she's got $1,300 a month left, so she's actually making more than the $986 she needs a month. So
she'll make $15,000 she'll have 15 grand extra over 12 months, and she only needs 8 extra to pay for this term. So you've got the money. And so if you want to keep saving, well, 15 minus 8, that's going to leave you with a big chunk of money you can start throwing at the car once you graduate. So I would just focus on one thing at a time and make sure that we can cash flow that. Because we don't know, what if the second term is more expensive? What if we didn't account for extra fees or books or who knows what? And so I would focus on that.
Well, and that's tricky because it does get a lot of people when they're looking at paying for college. Tuition is a lot, but there's a lot of other expenses that can pop up and surprise people, or they potentially take a bit longer. So we do really want you to focus on making sure you go out of school debt-free and don't take on more debt.
Love it. Thanks for the question, Cheyenne.
Did we solve the riddle, George?
I think we solved it. I think we would have got a gold star if we were in school.
I hope. All right, next up we have Lance calling from Syracuse, New York. Hey, Lance, welcome to the show.
Hi, big fan. My question is, I just bought a house approximately 3 months ago, and I got a really good deal on it. I got it for $65,000, and it needs a lot of work, though. Okay. I ended up taking out a $25,000 loan to pay for the house. It was in pre-foreclosure, so I couldn't go through a traditional mortgage. I took out another loan to do some upgrades on it, and that's approximately $25,000 as well. And it has to be livable for me to refinance it into a traditional mortgage. Now, my thought is, if I can swing it to go ahead and just pay off the 2 personal loans at 9% interest and just pay that off and be debt-free in 5 years. If I go to a mortgage, which is approximately 7%, then I'm in debt for the next 15 years. I'm just wondering which path I should try and go.
Well, you don't have to be in debt for 15 years. You could pay that thing off in 2 if you wanted. Right?
True. Yes.
So we're just talking about you would save the 2%. Obviously, there's going to be costs with the refinance. So you'd have to figure out, are you even going to ROI based on how quickly you're going to pay these off?
Okay.
You know, if you're going to pay $4,000 extra in interest on those 9% loans, but the refinance is going to cost you $5,000, then it may not be worth refinancing. You may just want to get rid of these loans instead of switching to the traditional.
What's your income right now?
My wife and I were about 120.
Okay. And then
why would this take 5 years if you're making 120?
Because of all the renovations. Like, literally, this house needs a full gut job, all new water lines, drainage. I just put a new roof on it, windows. I'm trying to cash flow as much as I can.
Did you put $40,000 down?
Yes.
Okay, so you put $40,000 down, which left you with a $25,000 deficit. You got one loan there to cover that, and then you got another $25,000 loan for the repairs. So we're $50,000 in debt total?
Yes.
So the $25,000 loan for upgrades, how close does that get you to it technically being livable?
So it actually gets me very close. I've been working at buying this house for the past year and 3 months before I finally closed on it. And in that time, I ended up accumulating windows and a bunch of different construction supplies, and I'm able to do most of the work myself. So it gets me very close to livable. When I spoke to the bank about refinancing it, they said it doesn't have to be finished drywall or painted or trim even. It just needs to be livable, which means, water line, running water, and sewage as well, and electric.
And are y'all living there?
I will be. No, we're actually living with the in-laws right now, and I give a shout out to them because they have been a huge help in this process. If it wasn't for them, my wife and I would have never been able to do this.
That's awesome. So how much more money is it going to take to get this place to where you want it? Because you're $50K in debt now, that'll get it to a okay spot. How much more to get it to where you want it to go?
I'm guessing approximately 15.
Okay. So the goal now is to not go into debt any further on this thing and cash flow that 15 when the time comes.
Yes, that's what I'm working on.
So I would use that. You already took the $25K loan to reno. I would get it livable, talk with your mortgage lender, and have them run out both scenarios. of, hey, if I'm going to pay this off in this amount of time, is it worth going to the conventional loan at a lower interest rate based on the cost of refinancing? And they can run those numbers out and show you how long it would take to ROI on that.
Okay.
And then cash flow the other 15. Once it's livable, let's pay down this debt, and then let's cash flow the rest. And that should free up some payments in order to do that. But this is going to be a little bit of a journey. For sure.
Kind of an adventure. And it's good that you have somewhere safe to live now, because the whole process of renovating can be quite
Sometimes you get a deal and you're like, I got a killer deal. And you're like, I hope this deal was worth the headache. Goodness gracious. This is a year-long project that always took more time and more money than I wanted it to. But I hope it turns out beautifully for you, Lance. That's awesome. All right. We 1 week ago, we did our Building Wealth live stream event right here at the headquarters. We live streamed it to hundreds of thousands of you watching, and many of you are still wondering, building wealth in this economy, is it really possible? Well, we keep hearing that question. We get the confusion. There's so much noise right now about inflation and layoffs and the debt ceiling and rising interest rates, and you're freaking out and you need some answers. And that's why we're coming to a city near you with our Building Wealth live event. Dave Ramsey and our entire team of Ramsey personalities will be doing a Building Wealth live spring tour where we will dig into all of these hot topics and give you a proven plan to build wealth and keep it. That's a promise. So each Building Wealth live event has its own flair and unique lineup. Dave, myself, Rachel, and Jade will be in Indianapolis, February 16th. Dave, Ken, Dr. John, and Jade will be in Austin, Texas, February 23rd. Dave, Rachel, myself, and Christina will be in Salt Lake City on April 24th. And then we'll round it out in Anaheim on May 2nd with Dave, Ken, Dr. John, and Christina. Tickets start at just $49, or you can get a 4-pack of tickets starting at $175. Bring some friends, borrow some if you have to. It's going to be amazing. You can get those tickets at RamseySolutions.com/events to reserve your seats today. It's been so fun meeting people in real life in their own hometowns and seeing the inspiration happen across the stage. It's been electric, Christina. I can't wait for you to join us.
Oh, I can't wait. And I'm just so excited because in a world right now where there's so much fear and so much negativity, for people to see, that you can still build wealth, that you can win with money, it's just really exciting. Hey, we're here. Give us a call, 888-825-5225. We'll be right back. This is The Ramsey Show. Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm Christina Ellis, joined today by George Camel, and we're taking your calls at 888-825-5225. Next up, we have Marty calling from Fresno, California. Hey, Marty, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Hey, thanks for calling. How can we help?
So I have a question. I have a credit card that has $8,000 in debt. It is a 0% interest rate, but I do have a good savings that I would be able to pay all of that off with. My question is, would it be wise to use my savings to pay off that credit card, or should I continue to pay at the 0% interest rate?
Pay it off.
Pay off?
Yeah, how much do you have in savings?
I've got $25,000.
Oh my goodness, Marty. What are we doing here? You have the money. Why are you hanging on to it?
Part of it was because it's on my husband's account, and we were trying to establish his credit.
Why?
And so, he doesn't have very good credit.
But why does he need the credit?
We are wanting to buy our first home.
Oh, there we go.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And so, and we have that percentage rate. It's with Citibank, and I scheduled it to where I'm paying it off completely on the last day of the promotion, which is a 16-month promotion.
They will get you. They are snakes. Do not trust them. Pay it off today.
Okay.
I'm telling you, like, actually, you pay it at 11:15 at midnight. It actually become the next day, and so you're actually going to get charged back all of the interest. Don't fall for this crap.
Jesus. Okay.
So here's the deal, Marty. You actually do not even need a credit score in order to get a house.
Really?
And I say that with utmost confidence because I've done it, and thousands of people have done it. It's called a no-score loan through manual underwriting. And so if you have 12 months of rental history, you've had a year of cell phone bills and insurance bills, you can use that, and real people will actually look at your financial situation to approve you for a mortgage. And our friends at Churchill Mortgage do these all day long, and they'd be happy to help. Now, if you already have a score because you opened the card, that's fine, but pay that thing off and don't look back.
Do y'all have any other debt?
No.
Okay, good.
Wonderful.
Let's keep it that way.
That's it. Yes. Oh, no, we don't want to get into debt. We just thought we were doing something good, and getting his score up. But I knew what to do. I just needed to hear it.
That's what we are here for, Marty. And if you want more information, I did a whole podcast episode on the fine print about credit scores and about credit card rewards. They're two different episodes, but I think it'll give you some peace and confidence about not needing to play the credit score game because much like you, I used to think that way. And I thought, well, you need the credit scores to, what do I need it for? Oh, to go into debt. Okay. Turns out you can rent apartments, you can rent cars, you can even get mortgages without having that credit score.
All right, up next, we have Adam calling from Princeton, New Jersey. Hey, Adam. Welcome to the show.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much, and thank you for all you do. We really appreciate it out here, everything you're doing for us.
Of course. Thanks for calling. How can we help today?
Well, my wife and I are kind of at a crossroads, actually. I'm 60, my wife is 68, and we have a home in an adult community. It's worth between $250,000 and $300,000. It's paid off. We have no debt. Where the plan is to, look for something less expensive in Lynchburg, so we can still have, something left over for whatnot. However, in the meantime, I was let go from my position in December. My wife only has a very small Social Security stipend coming in, so we're kind of everything's kind of been put on pause, and we're not sure if we should continue to actively. Well, we haven't yet, but should we market the home and go forward, or do we stay? Do we go? We're just not sure what to do. We have no debt, but we also have no savings, so we're kind of locked into this precarious position. We have one asset, and that's all we have, really.
What was your income before you were let go?
About 45-ish.
Okay, and what's your wife's Social Security right now? What's her monthly?
A little under $600 a month.
Okay. And are you looking for another job?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Absolutely.
Okay. So this is a temporary situation.
Yes.
What were you doing for work?
I've had several positions. My latest position was primarily in customer service.
Okay. Is there something where you could get a part-time job right now so we can cover the bills for the next month while we figure out what the next full-time move is?
That's kind of what I'm looking for right now, correct? Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay. Then I think right now we need to figure out how we're going to cover next week's bills. That's A1, because I don't think $600 is going to cut it for all of your bills, will it?
Not really. We're kind of robbing from Peter to pay Paul right now, so yeah.
And you guys have nothing in retirement and nothing in the bank?
Correct.
How about your wife? Can she still work?
Not at this time, no.
Okay.
Well, Adam, this is all on you, buddy, to save the day here. And so it may take swallowing your pride and going down to whatever local stores are around and say, hey, I'm able and willing to work. How soon can I start?
Mm-hmm.
And if you can bring in...
I've done that before, so I know that. Yeah.
Yeah, even if it's $15 an hour right now and you just work as much as you can, as many hours as you can while applying for those jobs to get back to 45 or more. But I wouldn't go listing the house as a fire sale quite yet.
Yeah, especially with everything going on. I mean, your time and energy right now needs to really be in finding another job and figuring out a way to get your income back up. Because even if you sell the house, I mean, right now you don't have a mortgage, so you're still going to have to figure out your income somewhere else. And you need to have some sort of savings to be able to make that move and to transition to a new city. That's a pretty huge move. So right now, I would kind of just take a deep breath, take stock of where you are. And then, like George said, even if it's just a temporary few-week job where you go to Target or, Walmart or something down the road, just
whatever, right?
Just whatever to be able to get above $600 a month.
And then longer term, once we have stable income, we've got to figure out, how are we going to retire? What are we going to do? Because I can't work until I'm 75. And so in the next 10 years, how do we make as much money as possible to start to create that nest egg and savings so that we can live? And you might need to downsize eventually in order to create some income for yourself. Maybe, you downsize to a $150,000 home and take that other $150,000 from the home sale and invest that. So do you have a financial advisor you're working with right now?
Not presently, no.
Okay. It would be prudent to connect with a SmartVestor Pro at RamseySolutions.com and figure out a plan over the next 10 years. How are we going to get Adam and his wife into a place where they can retire with dignity and they're not freaking out over the next month's bills trying to live off of Social Security?
Well, and Adam, I want to give you a little challenge. I want you to, of course, go out like we talked about already and get a job, a temporary situation, but I also want you to dream a little bit. I want you to think through, what is your next act career, even if it's for another 5 to 10 years. This is a temporary fix that we're going to do today. You're going to go get that job, but what do you want to do for the next 5 to 10 years? There's all sorts of people in their 60s and 70s that have amazing second careers. So I want you to not just live in this space of temporary solutions, but also have that vision for what you're going to do in the future. And to help you with that, we're going to gift you From Paycheck to Purpose by Ken Coleman.
Yeah.
To help you hopefully develop that dream.
I've been in that position of having to take the only thing that comes along for quite a while, so I haven't really had that room to say, what do I want to do? I haven't had that choice yet.
Well, right now, let's do both and. Yeah, let's do both and. Let's get something to pay the bills this month, and let's also start dreaming about what's next.
Hang on the line. We'll get you From Paycheck to Purpose from our friend Ken Coleman. Thanks for the call, Adam.
We'll be right back. This is The Ramsey Show. Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. Our scripture of the day is, "Oh, taste and see that the Lord is good. Blessed is the man who trusts in him." Psalms 34:8. Our quote is, "It's up to us to choose contentment and thankfulness now and to stop imagining that we'll have to have everything perfect before we'll be happy." Joanna Gaines. Ooh, that's good. And I like me some Joanna Gaines. But hey, it's no spend month, so I will not be looking at her stuff this month.
Don't go near a Target, Christina.
Right. All right. Next up, we have Tiffany calling from Virginia. Hey, Tiffany, welcome to the show.
Hi. Thank you so much for having me. I'm a little nervous, so please bear with me.
Hey, thanks for calling.
We'll be so gentle and so kind.
Okay. So my question is, I make about 60 to 61K currently, and I'm in debt. I'm on baby step number 1, and I want to pay down my debt, but I'm trying to figure out how do I balance, because I have 2 kids, how do I balance, the work life and also making sure I give time to my kids, like on the weekends or, after they come from school. So I'm just trying to figure out how do I find that while still working tremendously to pay down my debt.
Yeah. Are you doing this on your own?
Yes.
Okay. And how much debt do you have?
So I have $17,000 in credit cards, and then I have $27,000 on the current car that I have now on a loan, and then I co-signed for my boyfriend's car, which is another $27,000. I know.
Is he still in the picture?
He is still in the picture, yes.
And he's making all the payments?
Yes, so he's currently making the payments on the car.
And what happens if he can't make the payments?
If he can't make the payments, then it falls all down on me.
That's the scary part.
Yeah.
Okay. How much is your car worth?
Well, on Kelley Blue Book, I believe it said anywhere from $16,000 to $19,000.
And you still owe $27,000. How are you that far underwater on it?
Well, I had a car previously before this one, and then rolled over the negative equity from that one, and it fell onto this.
Oh, boy. Okay. So your question was really about balancing the side hustles and family time. How old are the kids?
They are 5 and 9 months.
And what are you doing right now as your full-time job?
I am a housing locator.
Okay. Do you have pretty normal hours with that?
Yes.
And are you currently doing the side hustles?
Yes.
Okay. And those are bringing in extra, or is that 61 total, including side hustles?
That's including the side hustles.
And what side hustles are you doing right now?
Well, right now I'm with a temp agency. So I'm doing like concierge work, management roles, when I'm available, and I just can't seem to find enough time to be available.
Yeah. Who's watching the kids when you're doing the side hustles right now?
Well, my boyfriend, he gets off pretty late. It is no set time for him to get off work. He's a tower technician. So I really don't have anyone to watch them after school. So I'm thinking only on weekends, but that's the time I want to take them out and do things with them. And then I feel like I'll be missing out if I do more time on the weekends.
So on the weekends, are you taking the kids with you? Is this work from home, or how are you balancing it?
Right now, I'm not. I kind of took a pause from the side hustle, but I want to get back into it with intent. But I just can't find how I'm going to do that.
Was the side hustle in person?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I'm thinking, that we probably need to reimagine the side hustle. Obviously, I love that you're wanting to pay this off and you're gazelle intense, but we got to think through how can we do that and balance being a mom. And I'm thinking Uber Eats, where you can drive them with you. Maybe you could get a customer service job from home. Maybe it's a nighttime one where you're working when the kids are sleeping. But I mean, right now, the biggest challenge I think you have is figuring out, how can you work and earn income while also, keeping the kids with you. Does that feel right?
Well, I mean, I guess it could be okay, but just wanting them to be comfortable and safe while I'm out and doing things like that.
But I'm suggesting, oh, that's true. Yeah. I mean, that is a challenge. So then maybe we look at the work at home route, maybe a customer service position. There's a lot of companies that, they operate 24/7 and they need people answering the phone.
Okay.
I just want to challenge you to be creative and think through, how you're going to do that. Because I think right now, the biggest thing you can do for those babies is get out of debt, fight and get through, be gazelle intense, get through baby step 2. But of course, you still have to take care of them. So I would really think through, how can you safely, do an effective job that helps you make that money and, move forward while also watching them.
And the purpose of that gazelle intensity, Tiffany, is that for a short season, you might not get to take the kids to the park and do all the things you want to, but the end game is we have so much more free time and we're not freaked out financially and we're in a better place. We have savings in the bank and we don't have payments to make. That puts you in a very different place and it makes you a different kind of mom. You make decisions differently. And so it may be a really tough year where you go, man, I didn't get to see that 9-month-old turn into a 1-year 9-month-old. But what they will see is a mom who worked her tail off to set them up for a better financial future. So
yeah, it's a season.
We're pulling for you.
Yeah, it's a season. It's not going to be an easy one, but we've seen people do it countless times, and you're going to get through this. And it's so that you can enjoy full weekends with your kids someday without the stress and the anxiety of having that debt looming. All right, we've got time for one more call. Next up, we have Carolyn calling from Raleigh, North Carolina. Hey, Carolyn. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Christina. Hi, George. Thank you so much for taking the call.
Sure. Yeah, of course.
So it's decision time, and the decision is whether to repair an older vehicle or purchase a new to us car.
All right. Are you guys out of debt?
Yes.
And you have a fully funded emergency fund?
6 months, and so we're on baby steps 4 and 6.
Awesome. Okay, so what's the car repair going to cost?
Okay, so minimum is $500, maximum is $1,500, and the vehicle, according to Kelley Blue Book, is in good condition. That means with no mechanical repairs, is probably only worth $3,000 tops, because we have driven this car for 12 years, and it has 223,000 miles.
Woo! Well, do you guys have money for a car outside of the emergency fund? Have you been saving up?
So we started saving up late last year. We have about $6,400. So we could use that. But, with the market the way it is these days, you don't get that great of a vehicle. So we're just not sure what to do. Do we take our emergency fund down to 3 months and add that? That'll bring us probably up to about $12,000.
That's one option.
Purchase a newer car, or do we make the repairs?
What if we split the difference? What if we got a bunch of estimates and went, all right, we can get it done for $500. We're willing to sink that into this car, and then we're going to continue to save up beyond that $6,400 up to 9 or 10. That could be a way to go, all right, we're going to keep the one we have for now. I don't want you sinking, $2-3 grand into this car, and then it's still only worth $4 grand at the end of this thing. You're not going to ROI on that, which is fine. You guys have gotten a lot of life and mileage out of this. So it's definitely time for the upgrade. I want you to do that regardless. But for now, if you're not going to get the car you really want, you guys are in a great place in baby steps 4 through 6. So I want you to have a better car, Carolyn, and you can get there. But let's get a bunch of estimates and see if we can fix it up for now.
It's a good word, George, and I love it. That 233,000-mile car, that is a Ramsey
like
car
no
right there.
Woo!
All right, that puts this hour of the Ramsey Show in the books. Thanks to Austin, Ben, James, Zach, and Andrew, and to you, America, for listening. We'll be back soon. This is the Ramsey Show. Hey, it's Christina Ellis. If you love the show and want to dive deeper on your money journey, we have a weekly newsletter that gives you trending and helpful articles and tips on following the Ramsey way. Just go to RamseySolutions.com today to sign up for our newsletter. Again, that's RamseySolutions.com to sign up for our weekly newsletter.